Hey everyone, I hope you are doing well. I'm Adrian. Welcome to the weekend recap here on Rabona TV. I miss you guys. I feel like I've been a bit absent lately. Apologies for that. My weekends and sometimes evenings during the week are filled with me trying to build an IKEA kitchen, like the cabinets. It's hell. The frustration of installing drawers, man, I never want to do this again. It's not hard work, it's just finicky work. But anyways, recently you guys have been calling for the return of a certain league to the weekend recap, and as I always say, this is a democracy, not a dictatorship. So, as of now, the weekend recap is moving back to covering the top 5 leagues. Let's go and give a good amount of time to the returning league. Ligue improved a bit last season as far as competitiveness, and this season, it's extremely competitive. At least just past the halfway point. You'll see later that a familiar face or a collection of faces is at the top of the table, but there are quite a few teams within touching distance still. And that aforementioned collection of faces is of course, what am I doing with this? Is of course PSG with their new manager Mauricio Pochettino as he starts to find the lineup that works best for his side. It looks like he's getting things started with a familiar sort of 4-2-3-1 with Moise-Kean or Icardi up front and Mbappe, Neymar and Di Maria tucked in behind them. With the double pivot of Paredes and either Herrera or Verratti, he threw Trezeguet in there as well. He shifts to a 4-3-3 at times, but it looks as if he may try to forge forward with the 4-2-3-1 as it gives him the option to play plenty of his talented attackers while having that defensive assuredness that's necessitated behind them. They played away to Angers this weekend and didn't have their best turnout as far as finishing goes. Overall, they were quite in control of this match, winning 1-0 thanks to a Levin Kurzawa first half strike. A match to forget for Kylian Mbappe as he could have had a hat trick but scuffed his lines on all 3 occasions, man. You'd be excused if you missed that Niko Kovac is back in the managing game in charge of AS Monaco now, and he's doing a pretty solid job actually. He plays the kind of football that is a fit for a team like this, I think. It was never a fit for a team like Bayern, that's for sure. The likes that like to sort of dictate the play. This weekend, Kovac's side went away to Montpellier and went 2-0 up by the half with goals from Wissam Ben Yedder and Kevin Volland, the former Bayer Leverkusen player. After the half, it looked as if they were going to run away with this one when Ben Yedder scored his second from the penalty spot, but a 5-minute spell almost ruined that for Monaco when Montpellier scored twice, but Monaco held on 3-2 the final. Olympique Marseille are continuing on as they did last season despite losing to Nîmes this weekend. Disappointing result for them considering how they played, the chances they generated, the penalty Thauvin failed to get even on target, and the 3-minute collapse after the break in which Nîmes scored 2 goals, both from Nicolas Eliasson, both assisted by Sofiane Alakouche. 2-0 at that point, Benedetto brought one back for Marseille, a 2-1 loss for AVB at home against a team that's fighting relegation at the moment. Stade Rennais continued to excel in Ligue as they won 2-1 away to Stade Brestois. Lille, they got a win at home against Stade de Reims. A word I simply cannot pronounce. Do me a favor and search this word. And search it plus Forvo and listen to the pronunciations and give it a go yourself. I can't do it. It's defeated me. Anyway, the visitors opened the scoring in the 36th, but just after the half, Jonathan Bamba brought the hosts to level again. And then in the 91st minute, something you absolutely love to see, the Canadian boy, Jonathan David, with the winner. A big rebound that he was the first to pounce on to just poke it past the keeper. Just his 3rd goal in Ligue. Been a slow start for him, but he's getting there. Give it time. And with Lyon failing to get a win against Metz, that's poor from them and a missed opportunity. The table after 20 matches is as follows. PSG and Lille on 42 points apiece with Lyon on 40. See, missed opportunity to go clear. That's what I was referring to there. Monaco are just 6 points off of first, and same can be said of Rennes. Don't sleep on Marseille though, who have 2 matches in hand. Win those, and they're in the money also. Hey, welcome back Ligue Uber Eats. It's been a while. Hello, welcome to Germany. We're now in Germany, everyone. And the frustration levels were peaking this weekend in Germany, most of it coming from Dortmund. They played at home against FSV Mainz on Saturday. It was just a mess. Tying 1-1 with the worst team in the league, handing them their first point in about a month of football. In the Bundesliga, that is. Could Dortmund have been better? Yes, of course they could have. But I sympathize with them just a bit. They had a Jadon Sancho goal called back just a few minutes into the match. They had Zagadou go off injured at the half. They conceded just before the hour mark, equalized via Meunier, and then Marco Reus hit a penalty that completely missed the goal. It was one of those nights. They definitely have blood on their hands for the result. You know, they are in control of their own destiny, but it was one of those matches for them, you know, where everything that could go wrong did go wrong. There were a lot of draws to speak of this weekend in Germany. After Cologne fans had left a bit of a threat for their side, asking them if they know what kit they're playing for via a banner at their training ground, well, at least they didn't lose this time. They tied 0-0 with Hertha Berlin. Borussia Mönchengladbach couldn't make it 3 wins on the trot as they drew 2-2 with VfB Stuttgart. Hoffenheim and Arminia Bielefeld played out a 0-0 draw also. Wolfsburg and RB Leipzig, they drew 2-2. Mukiele getting things started in the 4th minute for Leipzig, only for them to fall 2-1 down thanks to the passing of Gerhardt. 2 assists from him. Leipzig got the equalizer in the second half via Willy Orban and came close to winning it later on, but 2-2 the final. My favorite result of the weekend. It's one thing to go up against a team in poor form, but it's another thing to actually take advantage of that poor form, and Union Berlin did exactly that against Bayer Leverkusen. This has to be the feel-good story of this Bundesliga season, no? 0-0 all game. It looked as if it was heading toward a draw, and at the 88th minute, a lightning-quick transition from Teuchart played in behind and scooped it over the onrushing Hradecki. Union really could have scored a few more in this one. Teuchart himself missed a one-on-one earlier. Fantastic result for Union Berlin, 1-0 over Bayer Leverkusen. Leipzig, Leverkusen, and Borussia Dortmund all dropped points. And like I said on Twitter, last month Manuel Veth said that Bayern hasn't been running away with the league in recent seasons, and more that the rest of the top clubs have just failed to properly challenge them. With Leverkusen, Dortmund, and Leipzig all dropping points again this week, it's hard to argue with that, isn't it? It really is. I mean, Bayern are strong, yes, but at times, the chasing pack make it way too easy for them with how poor they are. So, would a clearly vulnerable Bayern, who aren't having the best Bundesliga season ever for themselves, take advantage to stretch their lead at the top? Well, they'd have to do it against an SC Freiburg side that has been in great form as of late. No easy task, but Mr. Robert Lewandowski and Mr. Thomas Müller provided once again in this game to open the scoring after 7 minutes. After 1 hour, Nils Pettersson brought Freiburg level, but Leroy Sané set up Müller for what would be the 2-1 winner for Bayern. Leroy Sané, by the way, has contributed either a goal or an assist in his last 4 appearances for Bayern. Still only starts 50% of his appearances, but at least he has been starting regularly as of late. And as far as Schalke versus Frankfurt, could Schalke make it 2 wins in a row? They couldn't, unfortunately, thanks in large part to the return of Luka Jovic to Frankfurt. Jovic came on for the last 28 minutes of the match and scored 2 goals to give Frankfurt the 3-1 win over Schalke, one of them just a delicious volley. Jovic and Kostic back together. Kostic set him up both times. Watch out, Germany. The Balkan boys are back. And in the standings, Bayern now have a 4-point lead over RB Leipzig, and despite going without a win in 4 matches, Bayer Leverkusen are still just 7 points behind Bayern alongside Dortmund, and Union Berlin is right in the mix as well, undefeated in 6 matches. Come on, Union! Wolverhampton, calling them by their name, by their full name because they're in trouble. But Wolverhampton's topsy-turvy season continues. This is I was going to say weakest, then I thought maybe inconsistent is more fair, but I mean, they're quite simply having a poor season, so let's go with weakest. We've seen since their return to the Premier League. They started slowly last season and, they shook it off, and they haven't managed to do so as of yet this season. This past weekend, they huffed and they puffed against West Brom, but they ultimately blew it. They went 1-0 down thanks to giving away a penalty, put themselves back in the lead. Shout out Fabio Silva for getting his 2nd Premier League goal. But in the second half, they conceded twice in 4 minutes and ended up losing 3-2. Uh-oh, battery's gonna die. It's a race to the finish here. Tough times there as Wolves are now winless in 6 attempts, man. That's poor from Nuno and the boys. A team that perhaps deserves more points based off of the kind of football they try to play, Brighton, got what they deserved against Leeds finally with a 1-0 win. Leeds have been very funny in their last 5 matches. They either get blanked or they blank their opponents. 1-0 win, 5-0 win, 3-0 loss, 3-0 loss to Crawley, and then 1-0 loss to Brighton. Weird stuff. It's also nice to see David Moyes doing well again. With all the abuse this guy has put up with, the ridicule, Moyezinho deserves some happiness. And with the trash on-pitch product that Hammers fans have had to put up with in the last few seasons, they deserve some happiness as well. West Ham are unbeaten in 4 and have won 2 matches consecutively after their win over Burnley this weekend, in which Michail Antonio, scored what was the winner in just the 9th minute. Still in London for Fulham hosting Chelsea at Craven Cottage, and let's get one thing straight. Fulham have played much better lately than their place in the table would suggest. 5 matches in a row in which they held Spurs, Liverpool, and Southampton to draws. So there are some big improvements there, at least signs of improvement there. That said, with Fulham being down a man for half of the match, Chelsea perhaps should have put in a bit better of a performance, but I mean, a win is a win, and they got it thanks to Mason Mount in the 78th minute. A fantastic performance from him in this match. Another massive chance missed by Timo Werner, unfortunately, as he came off of the bench. That just feeds fuel to the fire that, he's a flop, basically. I think that's simply not true. He's just in probably the worst form of his life at this moment, and even then, if he is in the worst form of his life and has been involved in more goals than any other Chelsea player in the Premier League with 4 goals and 4 assists, I think it speaks more to the issues Chelsea are having as a whole more than Werner in particular. Mr. Brendan Rodgers, a superb manager. There's always a chance he'll go disaster class as he has done at Leicester and Liverpool before, but he's certainly growing into a solid manager, it seems like. With the Foxes' 2-0 win over Southampton, that's 5 matches unbeaten for Leicester since their loss to Everton a month ago, which was a bit of a weird one. They actually play Chelsea on Tuesday. That should be a fun match, shouldn't it? Rodgers up against the team he actually coached at least at the youth level before. Liverpool versus Manchester United wasn't the greatest watch, once again, as it sort of fell into similar patterns as previous matchups between these two have. Defense first from United to try and hit Liverpool in transition, while Liverpool's attack is at some of its misfiring worst at the moment in the Premier League. Yes, they beat Crystal Palace 7-0 at the end of December, but since then, it's been 1-1 with West Brom, 0-0 with Newcastle, a 1-0 loss to Southampton, and now this, a 0-0 with United. The attack needs some attention, or just to find their feet. Take nothing away from United's defense, however, as they looked good, especially in the second half, and perhaps Pogba will be ruining that opportunity he missed late, point blank, that he forced to save out of Alisson because he shot it right at him. He should be scoring that at least 9 times out of 10. 0-0 the final. Tottenham attacked well against Sheffield United and scored some fantastic goals to boot. Harry Kane with the kind of low curling effort from the edge of the box that you would expect from him. Serge Aurier with a nice header from a corner. And the best of the bunch, Tanguy and Ndombele with a stunning looping strike with the outside of his right boot that dropped into the bottom corner over Ramsdale's head. What a finish from the Frenchman. 3-1 the final there from Spurs. They put those losses against Liverpool and Leicester behind them from December and are now unbeaten in 7. But that display against Fulham, it stands out a bit. As I said, Fulham have improved, but the way that Spurs sat back when they had the lead, they just refused to attack, it seemed like, until Fulham got that equalizer. It shouldn't have to come to that. Just keep going. And finally, Manchester City continue to evolve into the beast that they used to be as John Stones continues to evolve as well. He scored a brace against Crystal Palace, including a header from a cross from Kevin De Bruyne that I personally think Kevin De Bruyne should get a ban for that cross, man. That outside of the boot cross was simply too perfect, and you can't just do that to certain defenders, It's not nice. Sterling and Gundogan with the other goals, and a great weekend for City overall, 4-0. Why else was it good? Because with Liverpool and United drawing, City can go top if they win their match in hand. Currently, they're in second behind United. Leicester are on their tails. Spurs aren't out of it just yet, man. They're on 33 points, and despite not always being convincing, Everton are in the mix as well. Win their match in hand, and they're right up there at the halfway point of this season. No La Liga action this weekend as it was all Spanish Super Cup and Copa del Rey. Real Madrid failed to make the final as they lost 2-1 to Athletic Bilbao on Thursday. Poor from them, really, as that team is looking out of form. Eden Hazard is still trying to find himself. He's a ghost of Hazard's past at the moment, indecisive and just lacking confidence. You hate to see it. But a ton of credit needs to be given to Athletic Bilbao for overcoming Real Madrid to make the final. Early doors, they're looking great under Marcelino. Unfortunate for Real Sociedad to not make the final, as they would have done so if it wasn't for Ter Stegen in goal for Barcelona. The German keeper dragged his team to the final in the absence of Messi. But even with both of them, how would they do against Bilbao? in the final? Well, we were treated to a great match. These two teams went blow for blow. Griezmann scoring the opener only for Oscar de Marcos to equalize. Then the Frenchman scored again to make it 2-1 for Barcelona, and it looked like they were going to see that result through before Asier Villalibre scored in the 90th minute to force extra time. 3 minutes into that, and Iñaki Williams scored one of my favorite goals of the weekend alongside Ndombele. No! Sorry about that. Well, I mean, I guess I don't need to apologize to you guys because, I mean, through the magic of editing, you won't even know the delay. Camera died, went and showered, we're back now. But as I was saying, Iñaki Williams scored one of my favorite goals. It was a rocket that banked in off of the top corner. It was unstoppable. No keeper could have stopped that, even Ter Stegen. But what a goal. What a goal. Between his and Ndombele's, goals of the weekend. Griezmann could have had a hat-trick, but it was ultimately a really awkward and difficult chance that you can't really blame him for missing. Messi got a red card at the end of the match for, giving a nice open-handed smack to the side of the head of his opponent, or at least that's what it looked like from the camera angle that I think was taken from about 2.3 kilometers above the stadium. Really hard to tell from that angle, but it looked like it was a justified red card. And so Marcelino has done a cup double over Barcelona after he beat them with Valencia in the Copa del Rey final. Great way to start his career with Athletic. Long may the success continue. I'd love to see a competitive Athletic Bilbao. Okay, in Italy, the Rome derby went down on Friday, and it was a game of few chances and a game of Lazio making the absolute most of theirs. 8 shots, 8 on target, 3 goals. Roma, 6 shots, 1 on target, 0 goals. My God, talk about a frustrating, bogged down affair for Roma in particular. Luis Alberto with a brace, Ciro Immobile with a goal, Lazzari with 2 assists, Lazio with a big, much needed win. Napoli got the biggest win of the Italian weekend with a massive 6-0 victory over Fiorentina. Big ouch for La Viola, who are all over the place lately. Not a good look. Chucky Lozano got a goal, Insigne got a couple, Dem, Zielinski, and Politano all adding goals as well. A very forgettable weekend for Fiorentina. Atalanta were held to a 0-0 draw with Genoa, not much to say from that one, while Sassuolo and Parma stayed at 1-1 as well. But the match that everyone will have been watching, undoubtedly this weekend, was the Derby d'Italia between Inter and Juve. As I said in my preview for the Serie A at the beginning of the season, with how vulnerable Juve are this season with a brand new coach at the helm with 0 experience, Inter have no excuses and have to take advantage of that. They have to be the best team in Italy with the investment they have done, and in this match, it isn't a stretch at all to say that they are currently the best team in Italy, I think. Besides AC Milan, got you. But I was pleasantly surprised in this match because you never know what you're going to get with Inter. But they started well and they played well throughout the match. Ronaldo was a non-threat as he was iced out. Morata barely did anything also. And Inter attacked well, despite Lautaro and Lukaku not having their best matches. And they defended extremely well, I thought. Of course, Arturo Vidal scored his first Serie A goal for Inter against his former team with a great header from a Nico Barella cross. And later in the match, just after the half, Barella was played through from a great assist by Bastoni from the back, and he rifled the ball into the top corner. Cool as you like, one-on-one with Szczesny. Fantastic performance. Barella continues to impress, and Inter get back to winning. Can they keep it up? That's the question. And now to the standings, and we haven't seen Juve fall this far for a long time now. And if Milan win their match in hand on Monday, Juve will be 10 points off of the top. But I mean, is anyone truly surprised? It's Juve's side that has been slowly regressing over the last 2 to 3 seasons. It's open season, really, for any of the challengers, and they must make the most of it, especially Inter. And now AC Milan as well. No European football for Inter. You're just chilling in Italy all season. It's a no passport necessary season for them now. And if they don't win it, when will they? Alright guys, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video and I look forward to producing more content throughout the week for you. I'm Adrian, I love you, and take care of yourself. Ciao.